Hey, this is Jeanette with QB Winery Solutions. Silicon Valley Bank runs 2 surveys each year, and every winery is invited to upload information. In the spring, they run the DTC Consumer Wine Sales Survey. If you follow the link below, it'll take you to the Silicon Valley Bank Wine Division website, and you can either participate in this year's survey or you can download the previous year's results. Now, the questions they ask in the survey are metrics that you should be tracking because these are typical KPIs for the wine industry. Some of the questions can be easily answered from your point of sale program, but others need information that is only in QuickBooks. If you have set up your file using our recommended procedures, what we call the Fundamental 5, then you can easily pull the reports. And that is what I will show you in this video. Now, while the Silicon Valley Bank report is useful to use as a benchmark against your own results, you will get a lot more benefit if you monitor your own results because, of course, your mileage may vary. Now, I recommend that you make a master report where you start to record these sorts of data points. Now, if any of you have heard my rants about the point-of-sale programs, I won't repeat that here. Just know that some point-of-sale programs do not generate accurate reports, so I recommend that you use your QuickBooks numbers as much as possible. However, some information is only available in the point-of-sale program. The key is to know which point-of-sale report you can rely on, or at least how to extract the information from the system. For many of the programs, I'll create what I call the data dump and then run a pivot table. This is the same file that we use for the push-in or the summary method. However, we don't import all of the information that is available into QuickBooks, so there are times when we have to revisit the point-of-sale program to gather the metrics asked for in this type of survey. So let's get started. There are 8 questions from the DTC survey that I'm going to cover. So you can see here, there are 27 questions in all. It does not take long to pull these numbers, but what is likely to happen is that you will not expect one of the answers, and then that will lead you down a rabbit hole of research. So just warning you. So let's get started. So I've created a cheat sheet here that you can use that summarizes the reports that you're going to pull. So the first question is, what is your annual case production? For this report, we're going to pull the purchases by item summary report. This is what it looks like. And you're going to find the report here under purchases by item summary. This is a standard report in QuickBooks. If you have been recording your bottle runs the way we recommend on a journal entry check, your numbers are going to be right here. This particular file records their wine using bottles. So we're going to take this 33,672 bottles, divide that by 12, and that gives us our average case production for 2018. Okay, the next question is, what is your average suggested retail price? For this, we're going to run the sales by item summary report, and that looks like this. And you'll find that report here, sales by item summary. Now this report, we're going to filter for your tasting room class. So you go customize, filter. You're going to want to click on class. So you click type in here, find class, and then from class, pick the class that represents your tasting room. And for this file, this will be the retail class. And then we can come down here to the bottom. So here's my average price. So in this file, their average price is $25 per bottle. Now we're going to assume that your tasting room does not discount. So whatever you sell your wine for in your tasting room is going to represent the recommended retail price. Okay, question 11. Estimate the average tasting room purchase dollars for 2019. So first, from your point of sale program, you want to find the total number of tasting room orders or sales receipts. And once you know the total number of orders, then you're going to come here to QuickBooks, and then this is going to be question number 11. So the base of this report is the profit and loss standard report, which is right here. This is the report you should be able to know how to get to, profit and loss standard. And what I've done here is I've shown my columns by class. And all I have to do is look at my class that represents my tasting room, so that's retail. There's my grand total, $110,000, and divide that by your total number of orders. Now it's your call whether or not you want to include the shipping fees and the event tickets. That's totally up to you. Personally, I would exclude the shipping fees. I don't count that as a sale. Okay, next question. How much do you charge for your standard and reserve tasting fees? Now, you could probably call your tasting room folks and get this answer, but you can also double check here. We're going to run this report. This report again is the sales by item summary report. And I'm going to come down to the bottom here because I do have all my tasting fees set up as items, so I can see that I've got a $5 and a $10 tasting fee. So that's my answer. I can't explain to you why this number is not 5 or 10, but obviously that's one of my questions I'm going to ask my tasting room staff, find out why I don't see 5 or 10 here. All right, next question is estimate the average per person annual sales for wine club members. Now this could be interpreted different ways. What I'm going to assume is that you have a couple of different tiers of your wine club, and you're going to run all these clubs 2 or 3 times a year. First, I would run my QuickBooks report, and that's going to look like this. All right, so this report here is the base report for this is, again, that profit and loss standard report. I'm going to filter for just my wine club class, and then I'm going to set my columns by month. And you can see here that this winery had a club run in April and it had a club run in October. So I would look in my point of sale program for the number of members who took an order in April, and I would also look for the number that took an order in October, and then I can figure out the average order and then add those two together to get my total annual sales per customer order, per club member order. Now, the second part of this question is asking about additional purchases. This information you're going to need to get from your point of sale program because I don't currently have a method of bringing in the tiers. So the basic concept of how you're going to get this information is you need to know how many club members from each tier ordered. Then you need to calculate the base order for that tier, and then you simply subtract the actual sales for that tier minus the base, divide that by the number of orders in that tier, and that way you can get the average add-on amount. So this question takes a little extra math, and hopefully your point of sale system can get you the numbers that you need in order to calculate this. Super powerful because your club members are already fans, and all you need to do is ask if they want to order additional wine with their shipment, and a lot of them will say yes. All right, next question, 25. What percentage of overall wine sales are direct? So there's 2 ways you can run this report. The easy method is to run a profit and loss report and filter for the DTC classes. But I prefer the spiffy method where we're going to use the custom summary report. So the custom summary report is right here, custom summary right there. And on the custom summary report, you want to come here to customize. You want to display your rows by class, amount, and then click this box right here, % of column. And then we also need to filter for our wine sales account. So that's going to be under this one right here. This filters the account. So click on account and then scroll through the list until you get to wine sales. Really important that you do this filter, otherwise you're going to get a really goofy result. So right off the bat, you can see this adds up to 100. So then I can see I've got 60% going to trade, and therefore 40% going to DTC. Now the next question is, what is the breakdown of your direct-to-consumer sales? So it's the exact same report, but I've got it ready to go here. 25, 26. So it's the exact same custom summary report. Rows by class, check the percent box. But in this situation, I have filtered for just the DTC classes. So I've checked off just my DTC classes. And now I can easily see what that percentage is of between my club, my tasting room, and my web sales. You might have other classes. Very common to see an event class, and an off-site class. You might even have a phone sales class as well. And last of all, what is the annual percentage change in DTC sales from one year to the next? So that's going to be 27. So again, this is going to be the base report for this is company financial, profit and loss standard. We're going to go in and we are going to filter for the DTC classes. So there's our filter for our classes. And again, the way you get to this is when you choose your filters, if I go class, that's going to pick up my filter. This window is going to change. From here, I'm going to go multiple and then check the ones that I want. And then the other thing I'm going to do is, sorry, I missed that step. On this window on the display tab, you want to select previous year and percent change. And there you go. Again, depending if you're going to include shipping fees in this number, you can filter the different accounts that you see. But this question asks about total sales, total DTC sales, not just wine sales. They did have a 7% increase in wine sales, but they had a 3.4% increase overall in total DTC sales. I hope that helps you pull your reports from QuickBooks so that you can answer the survey. I think it's really important for the small wineries to be involved in these surveys so that we can get benchmark numbers that are useful for the small wineries. Again, I think that there are two wine industries. There are the small family wineries, of which 85% of all the wineries are the small family wineries, and then you have the larger wineries that are all selling in three-tier. And those wineries operate very, very differently from the small family wineries. I think that the DTC channel is extremely important to the small wineries. So I hope you all participate in the survey, and I also hope if you don't participate, download the report, get on the mailing list, so that you'll get the heads up email next year when the survey rolls around. Cheers.